family, and welcome to today's video. Thank you so much for coming and sharing some time with me. I love and appreciate you all. So I had a whole video set. I was going to talk about pronouns and nouns and transgenderism, and I said I'm going to bust out the book. Let me bust out the book, the definition for these people, right? Let me break out Webster's dictionary, right, that I got from my grandfather's house. Boom, right here. Like, okay? And let me peep how old this book is. I got it from my grandfather's house. Last copyright was 1966. Look at who was president. Lyndon B. Johnson. It says from 1963 dash, right? Because he was still president at the current time. That's crazy. How many of y'all seen an old ass dictionary like this, right? But anyway, so I opened it up and I was going to talk about pronouns and how pronouns are just titles, right? And a word caught my eye at the bottom, and it said propaganda. And I said, holy crap, you know what? I'm going to talk about propaganda because that's something that we've been talking about a lot in my household, right? That's my husband's favorite word for the news. Whenever he puts the news on, let's see the propaganda. Let's see what they telling people. Let's see what it is. And, you know, I've always thought of propaganda as just the rhetoric, or what is the message of the day, or what is the ideals that is being peddled to, you know, the common folk, right? But reading the definition, I was like, oh, look at this, right? The definition from this book that is very old, okay, that predates the use of the internet, the use of electronics, the use of fact checkers, before things were too corrupted, and it was the basic authentic truth being put in this book, because this book, Webster's Dictionary, this is complete with the student's handbook, so it's what they also were using in college. This is the standard, or was the standard. Well, I think it kind of is. Webster is still pretty standard, right? The standard of what words mean. Where do we go through if we're looking for words? You know, they even have the etymology of the words in some of these books, right? So let me read to you the very first definition. There's 4 different definitions under this word propaganda. Let me read to you the very first one. Okay? Propaganda, noun. In the Roman Catholic Church, a committee of cardinals in charge of the foreign missions. Why? Why is the Roman Catholic Church committee of cardinals in charge of foreign missions called propaganda? Hello, there's a message in that. You know, the Roman Catholic Church loves to go in and colonize people, saving them in the name of the Lord, right? We're watching Shogun on Hulu, and they're talking about the Protestants and the Catholics, and, you know, their corruption of Japan, their infiltration, right, in the name of the church, in the name of the Lord, right, coming to help save people. But really, all it is, they like to go to foreign land and implant themselves in the goings on of these people's dealings. And it's so funny, right? Because the Roman Catholic Church and the other church, the Ews, what does he call them? What does he call them? I forget what he calls them. But the Khazarians, right? I was trying to remember what the other word is that Naga calls them. But anyway, right, the Khazarians, you know, they have a big influence on a lot of the ideas and message that comes out to individuals, right, in many different arenas. They have their plants everywhere. They have their individuals everywhere. There's a little bit of them in a lot of different places. There's not a lot of them, right? But let me read this next definition so you can see how they are able to allow the propaganda that they decide to share, whether foreign or domestic, how they can allow it to infiltrate the minds of billions of people. Okay, definition number 2. Any organization or movement for the propagation of particular ideas, doctrines, etc. Doctrines, indoctrinated, okay? The documentation of certain things. So these religious organizations get together, because don't think that just because they're different religions, they're not talking to each other. Oh, baby, they talking to each other, okay? They're working together to say, what are we going to tell these common folk? Okay, here we go. We're going to get this committee together, and we're going to put together this propaganda, and we're going to form this narrative, and we're going to start dispersing it down the chains and the ranks of people so that we can have this information dissipated in an efficient manner. Okay? Which feeds me into definition number 3. The ideas, etc., spread in this way. Propaganda, in parentheses. The ideas, etc., spread in this way. So it's not, so much like a game of telephone, because the game of telephone, someone starts something, they say a phrase, and then by the time it gets to the other person, it's all distorted. The first phrase could be, this cat is hairy and smelly. And by the time they get to the next person, it is, this hat is furry and spunky, right? Like, it gets switched up. No. Propaganda is spread through these organizations and committees because they're organized. And that is why they try to, and when I say they, I mean these committees and organizations that like to spread propaganda, that's why they like to keep people divided and not organized. That's why they didn't like Black Panther movements, because NAGAs was organized. That's why they criminalized Bloods and Crips, because them NAGAs was organized. They didn't appreciate that. They didn't appreciate that these organizations in particular were organizing in a way and constructing their own propaganda and spreading their own information to the collective within themselves and rejecting the propaganda that was being passed down from these religious leaders. Now, Baptist church, Mormon church, Christian church, Jehovah's Witnesses, they're all subsidiary, right? But the Catholics been around for a long time. They're the OGs, okay? Them Eels, they've been around for a long time as well. And all they did was gather information from ancient spaces and distort it in a way to control, rule, and govern, to keep individuals docile. Bringing me now to definition number 4. Any systematic, widespread indoctrination, now often connotating deception or distortion. The media is full of that. Religion is full of that. The media, the word comes from the ancient goddess Medea of chaos and distortion and manipulation. So when you hear individuals say, oh, the propaganda, and try to put it in a negative connotation, it's because it does have those undertones of negative connotation. But look at where it first comes from. A lot of us are just using words, using our language, and not looking deeper into what it means. We're brushing it off as, okay, cool, this is what it was. Okay, cool, this is what it is. And that's not the case. We've adopted and adapted certain phrases to placate our feeble egos, so it doesn't feel so harsh and so bad when things go to shit in our life. We can turn around and say, oh, the news told me to do that. Oh yeah, I got this medication because the news said I should do that. Oh yeah, I went and switched things up because my doctor told me I should do that. Knowing damn full well that you was fine beforehand. But you listened to the propaganda and you allowed it to influence you. This whole noun, pronoun, title, I feel like identifying with, when is it going to stop? When are you going to say enough is enough? Enough propaganda. We're in a time of knowing, of knowledge, and digging deeper. When is enough people going to stand up and say, no, you can't kill us all? You can't lock us all up. You can't shut us all up. Many other countries, right? If you notice, America doesn't show too much world news anymore. There used to be like an hour dedicated to world news, what was going on in other countries. Now they're just telling you strictly the only other countries that exist is Russia and Ukraine. And Palestine and Israel, and they're not countries, but you know, they only want to show you the places that are foreign, that are in turmoil. That's it. And half the time when they're telling you it, they're saying to you, oh, look, this is so horrible. These people are dying. We need to send them billions of dollars. There's the propaganda. Why? Why do we need to send them billions of dollars when we are in so much debt as a country, as a whole? And when I say we, I mean y'all. Right? But seriously. So as a collective, as a country, there's so much debt that they're racking up. Have y'all ever looked at the debt clock of the United States? You know, you can look online. You can go online, debt clock. Look it up. Right? A few years ago, before this current administration got in, you were saying Social Security, Medicaid, the money that was in there was going to run out. And sorry, sorry, I don't know. I have a frog in my throat. They were saying these benefits for our elders, Social Security, Medicaid, and so on and so forth, was going to run out by 2050 because not enough people were paying into it, because more people were saying, fuck your jobs, fuck your taxes, I'm going to work things out on my own. So now they weren't paying into this system that was built to sustain the elders, because or even those who couldn't sustain themselves, those with disabilities, because this society, this government, doesn't know how to treat its freaking citizens or plan ahead so that people don't have to be relying on Social Security and Medicaid, so they can have some type of decent nest egg, so they can have some type of retirement, so they're not living in their homes for 40 years before they can pay off the mortgage and the land. And don't let them miss a motherfucking tax payment. Don't miss a tax payment. Don't you miss a tax lien. Because that house that you've been paying off for 25 years is gone. Fuck it. The house that was passed on to you from your grandparents to your parents to you now, don't you dare miss a tax payment on it, or it's now ours. The propaganda. So now, because this propaganda is being spread worldwide based on the narrative of individuals that do not have your best interest at heart, because they're so far removed from society, and not so far removed where they can't see things, but so far removed where they're made a complete turn with their head up their ass. So all they're seeing is darkness and their own self-fulfillment. Now, you've given them power. You've relinquished your power. You give away your power by relinquishing your power, by not saying or doing anything, by not speaking up, by not bringing awareness to things, by subscribing to their BS ideologies, by accepting their propaganda, by feeding their propaganda machine. You're relinquishing your power. So because that is happening, more and more propaganda is being indoctrinated into the mindset and blocking people from being able to stand up and make a voice for things. Hearing the housing market in Atlanta, Georgia is now controlled, consumed, occupied. 40% of the housing market in Atlanta is owned or controlled by corporations, the same 3 corporations. What y'all doing out there, black people? Why are y'all selling grandma's houses? Why are you letting these people buy up all the land and the houses for a quick buck? Instead of saying, you know what, no, let me find these loopholes. Let me find a way to fix it up. Let me stay up on these taxes. Let me not just give away the house and the land that I see no value in. Let me not just give it away, and let me make it valuable. driving people into poverty, all because of the propaganda. Who wants to live in an old decrepit house? Who wants to take care of the land? Come live in a shiny new condo. We'll give you $60,000. It's going to take $40,000 down payment to even just get in the motherfucker. But here you go. You don't have to worry and think about anything. And then when you get into these buildings and your ass get locked down for free, like they were doing to people in Australia, then you'll be wishing that you had your individuality and that you hadn't succumbed to the propaganda. But because they move in an organized way and they keep repeating the same rhetoric and indoctrination, it's hard to catch. But I'm here to shake it up. Shake it up. And stop succumbing to this BS. Because we know better. And when you know better... So, my battery died. Sorry about that. So, with that being said, when you know better, you do better. And if you don't know where to start, if you don't know what the first step should be, pick up a freaking book. They put all the answers in books. Talk to your elders. Stop throwing them away. Stop dismissing them. I mean, if they're toxic, stay away. But elders are such a wealth of information. I'm so thankful I got to spend a lot of time with my grandfather before he passed at 102. You know how much information I got from this man? I bought a tape recorder specifically so I could record conversations with him. But when you know better, you do better. And as you start to do better and start putting that energy out there, you start speaking up, or you start making changes through your actions, and people start seeing that, they'll be like, oh, wait. Our hive mentality clicks in. Our antennas, our spidey sense start tingling. And we're like, oh, wait, hold on, he's breaking free. And there's more of us that want to do that than less of us. Just sometimes we're waiting for someone to initiate that spark. And once we initiate that spark, then our feelings, our words, our actions, our desires will start to spread like wildfire. And it will squash the propaganda that's trying to be spread or has been being spread by these individuals who don't give a fuck. Okay? So that is that. That's all that I have for you all. I love you all. I appreciate you all. I'm so grateful for you all. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I'm so grateful for you all. Okay? Make sure you all go check out my latest podcast interviews. The links are in the description below. My latest one is with my niece, TIPSY Talk. Shout out to you all who I told last week Saturday about it, and you went and you flooded those comments with those purple hearts. Thank you. Right? If you don't know what I'm talking about, go click the link below. We spoke about so much, right? We spoke about love and polygamy and finances and mindsets, just so much, okay? And then I also have a interview with Cosmic Woman where we spoke about angels, and I did some oracle reading. So go check that out. Go binge watch that information and cut the news off. Cut off that propaganda. All right? So that's all that I have for you today, wealthy family. I love you all. I appreciate you all. And until we connect again, stay alert, stay aware, and live in love.